What are the greatest opening scenes of all time in cinema? Let's talk about some Tarantino movies, David Fincher's in the house, Stanley Kubrick, Christopher Nolan, of course, and so many more.
What's up, movie friends? Welcome back to Raiders of the Lost podcast, the ultimate film and TV podcast, and we have a big banger episode for you. We've been cooking on this one, the greatest opening scenes of all time. This list is epic. It's exciting. Man, some of these movies, when these films start, they get you going. You are locked and loaded within a minute on some of these movies and some of the best scenes of all time, and they happen to be the start of the films. Not all the greatest movies of all time have great opening scenes, but this is a list of what we think are the greatest scenes to ever open films, and we are going to go deep tracks, we're going to go all-time greats, we're going to go maybe a couple you've never heard of, so buckle up, guys, because we got some talking to do.
I adore great opening scenes, and like Anthony said, you don't have to have them, but I think when it's done well, it sets the tone for the movie really effectively, just like we were talking recently about opening title credit sequences on the show. But I think especially in the horror genre, I think the blueprint was done by Scream so well, where you kind of have a sort of mini opening to your movie. It's like its own story in itself, which a lot of opening sequences and opening scenes are their own stories, really having different beats of plots as well as its own climax. And I think they're a great way to set the audience up for what they're about to see, the tone as well, plus a little foreshadow of a lot of things to come, and kind of the rules of the world, especially when you talk about someone like Nolan or Fincher. Your opening sequence establishes what kind of rules there will be, especially if it's a Christopher Nolan movie and there's time involved. He's going to tell you the rules right away, especially with Memento or The Prestige, like all those little clues of what this movie's going to be about and how to decipher what's going on are always in his opening sequences and his opening scenes. And I really think it's when directors get to flex their chops in a really strong way. And I'd like to start off with a very recent film, if that's cool with you, that I didn't put on this list, just to throw you off your guard. And so I think one of the best opening scenes in the last few years for me is Smile 2, which opens with a fantastic oneer that's about 5 minutes long, establishes the rules of the world. If you maybe forgot about what the first film's about, or you didn't even see the first film, Finn Parker does a great job giving you small bits of exposition to explain what exactly is happening to this character who's being possessed by this demon entity spirit, as well as seeing from his perspective, but also him trying to pass on the spirit to somebody else, but it going horribly wrong. I think this opening sequence is one of the better oneers I've seen in the last few years. Really high production value. Kyle Gallagher, coming back from the first film, does a great job reprising his role as the detective whose plan goes horribly wrong. It's so fun.
Following up Smile 2, we're going to stay in the horror genre with a little John Krasinski in the house and his directing on A Quiet Place. This is one of those opening scenes which you mentioned establishes the rules of the world brilliantly. And it's so strong. It's emotional. It's exciting. It's terrifying. And it's so well laid out narratively without any dialogue. And we have the family quietly shopping in a rundown grocery store. And we see immediately, don't make any noise. Making noise is bad. If you haven't seen the trailer for this film, you don't really know why. There's so much mystery to this. But this family can communicate with sign language, and there's so many little instances of clues and action and set building and world building in this sequence that Krasinski and his team do brilliantly to help the audience understand what exactly is going on without explaining what's going on. He didn't open the film with a 1-minute montage of the world falling to shit and explaining that alien monsters have killed most people. There's no need to do that. They're respecting the audience, and they're showing us rather than telling us. And this really great sequence culminates into an emotional, terrifying experience of the family encountering one of these monsters as it attacks their young son and kills them without remorse, ruthlessly. Cut to black. An amazing way to start the movie.
It's so brutal. It's so intense and visceral. I love it so much.
Brutal!
Now let's go on to The Usual Suspects, which has such a great, mysterious, ambiguous and fun opening scene written by Christopher McQuarrie here. And it opens up with our basically main character played by Gabriel Byrne, Dean Keaton, who's bloodied, beaten. He's sitting on the deck of a ship, and this mysterious figure who's hidden with silhouettes and shadows approaches him. He pisses on the fire trail that he put on to try to blow up the ship himself, which is a lot of fun, and then starts to speak to Keaton and gives him, and they have a little back and forth. But then he unloads on the main character, kills him with a gun, and then blows up the ship and gets away. And this is just a crazy way to start a movie, because then Keaton is who we're following for the majority of the film now. But he just died, so it's a great nonlinear trick in storytelling here to set us up for what the hell is going on. And it's so fun.
Christopher McQuarrie, nothing is as it seems in that movie.
Real quick before we continue, check out this amazing poster over my right shoulder of John Wick 3 Parabellum inside this incredible light box, movie theater quality from our sponsor, movieposters.com. Use our code Raiders10 at movieposters.com to get 10% off your order today, as well as our affiliate link, which is in the episode description.
Next up, let's go and lighten it up a little bit with an animated classic from Disney, The Lion King. And this is an amazing opening to the film featuring an earth-shattering score from none other than Hans Zimmer, winning his first Oscar, and the Circle of Life playing after Simba has been bored and Rafiki has called all of the animals of the kingdom to the rock tower, whatever that's called, the cliffs.
The rock tower.
The rock tower. Welcome to the rock tower, bro.
The rock tower, baby.
Going through the quad, through the gymnasium, meeting at the rock tower, and we get the entirety of the kingdom of various animals as they traverse the jungle and safari landscape to witness the birth of their new eventual king, Simba, with the fucking great score.
Oh, man. I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about this opening scene, man. It's so good. It's fantastic.
Rock tower!
Rock tower! Let's go back to horror because, oh, man, I love a good horror opening. And let's talk about a Zack Snyder movie, Dawn of the Dead, which has a fantastic opening sequence. It takes place with our main character, Anna, played by Sarah Polley, who finishes a long shift in a hospital, and then ignoring the news of this crazy, strange outbreak, she's at home trying to relax, unaware of the danger. But in the morning, she wakes up, and a now zombified daughter of hers, enters their bedroom, bites her husband in the neck, and then they start to attack her, and she has to escape. And it's fast-paced. It's insane. This eruption of this neighborhood just going into chaos, her getting away just barely, and obviously she eventually makes it to the mall. But this opening scene is so much fun. It reminds me of 28 Weeks Later, which did something similar. And I think this was a great film to post 28 Days Later establish the fast zombies as the new norm.
Now we're going to stay with horror again with Finding Nemo.
I mean, this is kind of a
Just
horror.
kidding. It is a horror scene.
Yeah, kind of.
It's like up there with Bambi of most horrific sequences in a Disney or Pixar in animated film. And this is the opening scene, heartbreaking, where Marlin and Coral, they have a brewing nest of roe who are going to hatch into little tiny clownfish babies. And they're cute little family. They're debating what to name their kids. It's very sweet. And then all of a sudden, a barracuda attacks and strikes the family, trying to defend themselves and defend his family. Marlin gets knocked unconscious, and when he wakes up, Coral is gone, and all of the little roe eggs are gone as well, except for one roe, the last of his surviving children, who he names Nemo. And this immediately gets you crying, invested, and ready to see where the story goes. It's a terrific opening to one of the best animated films ever.
Oh, man. I'm getting sad, man.
Lots of emotions in this episode.
All right, back to horror for real, though. Fede Alvarez's Evil Dead has a fantastic opening sequence. It's about this young woman who's basically running for her life somewhere in the middle of the woods. It looks like she's been on the run, being attacked. and she eventually gets captured. And you're like, oh, crap, she got captured by these evil-looking people. They look like they're up to no good. They look like they're about to kill her. She's tied up to a pillar in a basement. She's begging for her life. And then her father's there, and she's begging her father to save her. And you're watching this movie for the first time. You're thinking, obviously spoilers, guys, but this is iconic. This is like a crazy cult or something, right? Why would a father kill a daughter like this? And then she turns into a demon, flips it on, like Fede flips this whole scene on its head. Great twist after building so much dread and horror in a great climax. And then they burn her alive. And he says some great line. I can't remember what it is, but it's awesome. And it sets up these brutal stakes for what we're about to see in the Evil Dead movie. Because as a remake of the original, you have to go hardcore. You have to go brutal. This movie's intense. One of the bloodiest movies ever made still. And I love this opening scene. It's such a great pivot.
Hardcore parkour. Next up, we got Nick Cage in the house with Lord of War, which has an outstanding opening sequence which acts as a prologue for the film. Sometimes the opening is a prologue. This here is what you would call a prologue. And we follow the point of view of a bullet as it journeys across the globe into a firearm that's eventually fired. And it starts in the manufacturing plant where it's actually assembled, goes through shipping, goes across the world, it's sold, it's actually put into a weapon, and then it's fired by, I think, an AK-47, if I remember correctly. It's an incredible sequence where the camera, it acts as though it's strapped to this bullet as it traverses the landscapes of these various environments. It was such a cool way to open the movie, mixed with Nick Cage's monologue near the end of the sequence, with the quote. It's really great to start the film. There are over 550 million firearms in worldwide circulation. That's one firearm for every 12 people on the planet. The only question is, how do we arm the other 11? A great line to showcase the theme of what this movie is.
I'm not sure I agree with your police work there, Lou. I believe it opens with Nick in that neighborhood intersection, and he says the line, and then the bullet sequence starts.
Yeah, you might be right.
Yeah, that's how it starts, yeah. I saw it, like, in the last 6 months. But, yeah, you just...
Well, thank you. Thank you for correcting me.
Yeah, I just want to correct you. I like how you almost said something very sarcastic, but then you just thanked me.
I almost did, and I was like, you know what? There's no need for that.
Yeah, there's no need, Anthony, because there was a gentle, polite correction.
It was a polite correction. That's why I didn't say anything.
I could have gone way harder.
Actually, you were very civil about it.
Yes, and I quoted Fargo to correct you.
Heck you mean.
Heck you mean. All right, I want to get into a vampire movie with Blade, the first film, which has an amazing opening sequence. It starts basically with these characters in a car on their way to a club. They get to the club, and little does this guy know, a human know, that he's surrounded by vampires. He got taken there by a vampire, and it's this rave. Lights are flashing everywhere, strobes, great house music. Everyone's having a great time until this guy, he's getting a blowjob, but it turns into something way worse, and then the sprinklers turn on and blood starts pouring everywhere. He's freaking out. And who comes and shows up? None other than Blade, and just goes to town, takes out all these frenzied vampires who are bloodlust, covered in it. And I love this opening sequence. The music is fantastic. And it's just Blade, the most badass vampire ever to walk the earth on screens. Just relentless, killing as many as he can.
I love this. Well, I don't remember anything about a blowjob here.
The guy's getting on the side.
Oh,
the guy
is it
the human?
The guy we're following? Is he?
I swear to God.
The guy that's like the girl lures into the club.
This is all part of her luring him into like a sense of like security kind of.
I guess I don't.
That's how you lure a guy.
Remember that.
It's just a brief shot of him on the side.
It's very easy to lure a guy into danger.
That's what I'm saying.
It's
It's pretty simple.
This guy thought he was getting laid, and instead he's surrounded by vampires. It's a great trap. All right, next up we got another Pixar classic with Up, and we're talking about that amazing, heartbreaking 5-minute opening montage showcasing the life of Carl and Ellie and their blossoming love in their early years to their marriage, the ups and downs and in-betweens, culminating in her illness and her eventual death, leaving Carl, who was once a kind, happy, jovial man who is now turned into a grumpy, isolated individual who sees nothing good in the world. It was an incredible way to get the audience invested in this character. And it's also cool to see when we look at old people. I think when we're kids and we look at old people,
Elderly, Anthony, the elderly. Don't call them old people.
when you're kids and you look at elderly people, you don't see their youth. You see them as older people, and sometimes when you're a kid, you can be put off by them. But as you grow up and mature, you empathize with older people and elderly people and realize they were you once. And I think the sequence brilliantly showcases that for kids who maybe never looked at elderly people in that way.
I think it's a really good point. It's a really powerful opening because I think this is something that Pixar's lost lately, especially with Finding Nemo, being able to approach very difficult topics for kids, which are really important things to do in cinema and in TV shows. And I think that maybe they're being too protective of their audience lately to not show them something dark that happens to everybody, whether it's loss of life or getting old, like in Pixar's Up in Finding Nemo.
Shots fired, Disney. Watch out. James is coming for you.
I think those are some of the most powerful movies is when you go and show. I was moved so much by Finding Nemo with that opening scene when I was a kid. But then you see the hopefulness and the beauty of life after that. It's really incredible. Let's get into a comedy film. And I'm sure, I bet none of y'all saw this coming. We're going to talk about Office Space, which has an incredible opening scene. And it's Peter sitting in bumper-to-bumper traffic. All the other characters as well, Michael Bolton and Samir as well. They're all sitting in traffic and handling the bumper-to-bumper gridlock on their way to their dead-end job that they hate differently. Whereas Peter hates it, he's annoyed, and he switches lanes, but then that lane starts to get gridlocked, but then he sees another lane open up, that lane gets gridlocked, and then Samir is just fuming, he's very angry. Michael is listening to gangster rap, but then when the man walks past his car, he turns the music down and locks the door. It's just so hysterical, and it's full of awkward silences. The tone is brilliant, it's so satirical, it sets up the film so well, and it basically ends with this climax of them getting to the office and Peter getting to the office, parking, getting into his cubicle where he's basically a zombie. But I think this opening scene is so relatable because no one likes traffic. Everyone hates traffic. We all deal with it differently. We all have our vices while we're in it. It's soul crushing, this daily commutes. So many of us have done it. I know a lot of y'all listen to us while you're on your daily commute, so we're happy we can entertain you on them. I did one for years. And I think it's hysterical, and I love this movie so much.
Great pick. Next up, we got John Carpenter's classic, The Thing. And this film has such an incredible, brilliant opening sequence that adds so much mystery to the story. And first-time viewers will be mystified and intrigued as a helicopter filled with Norwegians are chasing down a husky, a dog, across the Arctic landscape, firing sniper rifle shots at it and throwing dynamite at this thing, trying to kill it. It's like your first time watching this movie, you're like, what the fuck is happening?
That was exactly what I thought the first time I saw this movie.
The dog eventually reaches refuge at the American Arctic base, where the Norwegians continue their attack, which leads to ruin for them, where the helicopter spilling a barrel of oil blows up, and then the lone surviving Norwegian trying to fire on the dog some more is killed by the local cop who's tasked with guarding the base. So all the Norwegians are killed, and the dog is safe and sound. And it leaves the characters in confusion about what the hell is going on, what just happened. And your first time watching it as an audience member, you were just like, what? Where are we going with this? This was so out of left field, and it leads to such a great story.
The Hurt Locker is next, which has a remarkable opening scene because it connects so well with the emotions of the story for the characters and the narrative going forward. And I think that's why it's so brilliant, as well as it's just visually stunning. And I think Catherine Bigelow directed her butt off with this movie. And so it opens with Guy Pearce as the staff sergeant of a bomb squad. Anthony Mackie's there as a sergeant, as well as Brian Garrity as Eldridge. And there is suspicion of an IED, so Staff Sergeant Thompson goes inside the bomb suits to investigate. After the robot fails its attempt to deactivate it and blow it up, he has to go himself. He goes down the path to try to disarm it. However, a bomber with a cell phone is seen, and Eldridge, the character, is afraid to shoot and doesn't take him out. And because of that, Thompson gets blown up and dies instantly after the bomb goes off, setting up our new character, played by Jeremy Renner, to come in and fill his spot. But this movie's opening scene sets up the dynamic between Sanborn, played by Mackie, and Eldridge so well, in terms of Eldridge having reservations and feeling guilt for not taking the shot, as well as Sanborn always trying to keep people more healthy on his team more than ever going forward, which will clash extremely well with Jeremy Renner's character for the rest of the film.
Great pick. All right, next up, Steven Spielberg in the house, Jurassic Park. And this film opens with a horror scene, not unlike Jaws. Yeah, I'm sure he took note of what he did with Jaws and was like, that would work perfectly for this film. Robert Muldoon, who plays the game warden, played by Bob Peck in the film, he's overseeing a transfer of a dinosaur, which we'll learn is a raptor, but we don't quite see it fully in this sequence. As they're moving the cage crate toward the paddock to do the transfer, doesn't quite line up, and the dinosaur attacks one of the men and pulls it in, and we hear screaming as the cage shifts around, and the man is thrashed to bits off screen. This shows the danger, the stakes, and the monsters that we'll be dealing with for the rest of the film, and it's an excellent start to the movie.
Yeah, I think it's so smart and clever because the way they do it is it's like that great opening music with John Williams that's almost like Jaws. It's like dun 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 dun, and then the bushes start rattling and all the guys are standing there with guns in their hands, and you think a dinosaur is going to come through the bushes, but it's a giant metallic cage. It's awesome, man. I love this sequence.
So good.
Can you do Cliffhanger, which is next? I haven't seen that since I was a kid.
Sylvester Stallone, baby. I just watched
this is the harness breaking.
Ago.
Yeah. Get into it.
Yeah. The Ace Ventura
Yeah.
Pet Detective 2, When Nature Calls, spoofed this perfectly with the raccoon. So
hold on, little buddy.
Cliffhanger is a great film if you haven't seen it. Sylvester Stallone plays Gabe Walker, who's an expert climber, and this film opens with a rescue mission. He has an injured friend, Hal Tucker, who's played by Michael Rooker in this film, who's stranded on the peak of a mountain with his inexperienced girlfriend, Sarah. So Hal was taking his girlfriend climbing. She had never done it before. He fell down, hurt his leg, and so they're stuck. And so now Gabe Walker has found them, and he's going to get them off this dangerous peak. To do that, he sets up a line from where he is across the valley to their peak. And then the objective is each of them to slide themselves across the line into safety on the other side. However, as Sarah is moving along the line thousands of feet above the air, her little strap and harness breaks as she's pulling herself along the line, and she nearly falls. Trying to help her, Gabe makes his way over to her and catches her hand just as she's about to fall. Now he's just got her they're holding each other hand by hand. She's dangling beneath him. However, her glove is slipping ever so slowly. Gabe tries to do whatever he can, tells her to hold on, but slowly she slips out of the glove and falls down the empty valley below, thousands of feet to her death. It's an amazing opening, but what makes it so good was because since this was peak Stallone, audiences were used to watching him be the hero. He always saved the day. He always killed the bad guys. He always saved he always saved those who were in danger. And so for Sylvester Stallone to fail and fail to save someone in the opening of the film was a shock to audiences. And I think it was a great way to start the film. As a co-writer on the screenplay, I think he was like, you know what? Let's play it against type for what audiences are used to for me and have me fail to open the movie.
It's a great point. Zack Snyder again. Watchmen. I love this film. I think it was so ahead of its time. I know a lot of our listeners feel the same way. And it opens so well, just like in the comics with the comedian, this old grizzled ex-superhero, watches TV, and he gets attacked by a mysterious shadowed figure who breaks in, beats the crap out of him. He's no match for this figure, and then eventually throws him through the window where he falls to his death, and also the smile face button falls down on top of him as well with the blood smear on it on the street below with a smiley face pin. And then it ends up introducing the Rorschach storyline and his masked hero, vigilante, talking about the backdrop of this world. It's fantastic.
Next up, we got Mission Impossible 3. And J.J. Abrams played against what audiences were expecting. He often does that. And he opened his Mission Impossible film not with an action scene, but with a highly dramatic interrogation scene, basically. Owen Davian, played by Philip Seymour Hoffman, is asking Ethan Hunt, who is tied to his chair, bloodied, beaten, and he's in tears, while Owen Davian holds a gun to the head of Julia. Julia, played by Michelle Monaghan. He's asking Ethan where the rabbit's foot is, and he says he's going to count down from 10, and if he doesn't tell him where to find the rabbit's foot, Owen Davian will kill Julia. Counts down from 10 to 0. Ethan begs him to try to reason with him, but Owen Davian kills Julia, shoots her in the head, cuts to black, and we learn the next scene will be the opening mission, that this is actually a scene later in the film, and it was an interesting way to change things up for a Mission Impossible movie, especially from the highly stylized opening of the last film.
I think this opening scene, and also it's a bookend as well, kind of. There's a charge in my head. I have a charge in my head. I think it's the source of one of my favorite video memes ever. I don't know if you've seen it's a vampire meme. It's a shot of Philip Seymour Hoffman. He's got that like very serious look. And it's like when you cover yourself head to toe in garlic, except for your meat, and you present yourself to the vampire, and the vampire's Tommy's like, no, please no. It just cuts back to Hoffman with that very serious look. It's very funny. It's one of my favorite. It's very vulgar, but it's very funny. I'll send it to you later. It's great.
So random. Who came up with that?
The internet's undefeated, man. All right, Sunset Boulevard. Great opening shot. Haven't seen this movie in a long time. It's camera tracks down Sunset Boulevard as police cars race through the street. We follow them onto the stunning property where the lifeless body of our narrator, Joe Gillis, floats dead in the swimming pool beside the sprawling mansion to his side.
What happened to him? Dun dun dun. Not the first time Billy Wilder opened his film with the character in defeat, and at the end of their rope. I'm talking, of course, about Double Indemnity, but that's not on this list. Next up, my favorite film of all time, There Will Be Blood. This is one of the best opening scenes of all time, and it's just a brilliant depiction of who Daniel Plainview is. And in this opening, Daniel is digging for silver by himself in the middle of the desert. He's developed a rig. He's got a hole that looks to be about 30 feet deep, and he chisels away at the hardened earth day by day, trying to find any sign of silver. During one of these instances of going up the ladder, though, out climbing down the ladder, the ladder breaks and he falls down the entire pit and shatters his leg. He's in brutal agony. He can barely even sit up. He does, however, find the silver, which he pockets. But then, overcoming the intense pain, he pulls himself out of the pit and must somehow escape the desert alive without being able to walk. It's an incredible sequence that ends with him having made it to town and selling his silver. It's an amazing way to start the film.
It's similar to Up, where it's more of a sequence of events, not over as long of a period of time, but it's less of just like one opening scene, but it's still so remarkable and so powerful.
Yeah.
And in the way it ends with the high strings of him dragging himself, too, before he gets to the place to sell it. I think I'm with you, man. I still think this is the best film of the century. I don't think it'll ever be topped.
I don't think it's possible to top this movie this century. I don't think so.
We got a lot.
We got 75 years left, but I mean, guys, I don't know, man. I don't know.
I haven't seen anything come close. Oh, this next one. Oh, yeah.
Yes!
Master and Commander. One of the most underrated movies ever made. Absolutely incredible. Russell Crowe is Captain Jack Aubrey. It opens on a quiet deck. These sailors are asleep in their hammocks. Officers sipping coffee. It's just, it's a normal morning. However, a lookout spots a faint shape in the distance in the fog, so an alarm sounds. Aubrey rouses his crew. Cannons are readied as the ship emerges and fires suddenly. And what's great about this sequence is it shows Aubrey and his ship against a more superior French ship, and how his tactics lead to their survival as well as beating their enemies. The attack's fantastic. It's so visceral. It's one of the best war battle sequences I've ever seen in my life, and it takes place on ships too. And I think the practical effects of this film are incredible. The acting's superb. But this is it's worth just watching the opening scene if you haven't seen it in a while. But this movie's awesome. And I think Jack Aubrey is just one of the better characters when it comes to wartime movies. And Russell Crowe, one of his best performances. I love this opening scene. It's so good.
Yeah, it's incredible. And there's no music. It's all sound effects and sound design. It's fucking incredible. It's perfection. Chef's kiss. Next up, 28 days later and 28 weeks later, a tie. I'm sure 28 years is gonna have a great opening. It has to have a great opening scene.
I feel like the opening scene will be with the little daycare sequence. That's what it seems like to me.
Possibly.
It feels like that'll probably, unless they're watching reruns of Teletubbies. Maybe we're going to go back in time.
It sounds like that. Yeah, that sounds like what it would be. Yeah. Now, 28 Days Later opens not with Cillian Murphy's gym, but with a group of animal rights activists who have broken into the research laboratory to free a bunch of chimpanzees who are being tested and researched. However, unbeknownst to them, they are infected with the rage virus, which one of the doctor there tries to warn them about. Not believing him, they open and free a couple of these chimpanzees, and the chimpanzee quickly kills the first person it comes into contact with, spreading the virus to the rest of the people here, and eventually sprouting the end of humanity.
Not a great plan.
An amazing way. Not a great plan.
Honestly,
should have listened to him.
I understand wanting to free chimpanzees, but also you don't want to go near a chimpanzee that isn't interacting with humans regularly, because it'll tear your limbs off, literally.
Yeah, you know activists though, man.
They don't have great plans. They go and throw soup on stuff.
And then 28 weeks later opens with a fantastic, intriguing starting scene where a group of survivors are holed up in a wooden cabin, and a young boy knocks on the door desperate to get inside. They let him in, and he reveals that there was a horde of zombies who were chasing him, and he managed to just get away. And then leads to a minute of silence where the group wonders, did they follow him here, which ends up being true once zombies start breaking through the windows and doors and walls of the cabin, separating people, killing survivors left and right, in a mad dash attempt to escape. Robert Carlyle and his wife and the young boy make it upstairs into the upstairs bedroom, but are divided by a zombie. Rather than helping his wife, Carlyle's character runs into the bathroom, closes the door shut, leaving her with a horde of zombies entering the bedroom. He climbs out the window and runs to a horrifically close escape, barely getting out of the area alive on a boat.
What I love about this scene, thematically, metaphorically, is it shows and connects to the first film, especially with Celine, that what you have to become in order to survive is you have to lose your humanity. And if these people don't let this little boy in, and then the zombies come and chase the little boy away, they survive. But because they're good people, they still have their humanity. They let this little boy in, and that's what causes them all to get killed.
Dead.
So it's really interesting. Moving on to another great opening in a horror movie, Final Destination, the original, which is still unmatched, in my opinion, for the franchise. Our main character, Alex, played by Devin Sawa, he's packing for his trip to Paris. He's very excited about it. He has a nice little moment with his parents, and there's a little bit of a storm happening as he's going to the airports. He gets on the plane, and he starts to have these weird feelings. He's uneasy, feels ominous. James Wong did a great job directing these really good quick cuts, great sound design from the storm. Subtle clues that things are about to go wrong. And then Alex freaks out because after he sees what's going to happen with the explosion on the plane, he freaks out, gets off the plane. A couple of friends follow him, either because Ali Lauder's character is like, there's something about him, I think he's right, but the other kids, some of them get taken off the plane because they got rowdy as well. So they got kicked off, not because they believed him, but because they were mad at him. And then as they're all watching the plane fly away to Paris for this great Euro trip with the class, they're all pissed at Alex. The plane fucking explodes. And he was right. And it's awesome.
It's great. It's great, man. I clearly remember this in theaters, and it was just shocking.
Incredible opening.
And it's why the franchise is still kicking. Next up, Robert Altman, the man, the myth, the legend, with his incredible riff on Hollywood, The Player, which inspired PTA's opening of Boogie Nights, which we'll talk about later. In this iconic scene, Robert Altman's never-cutting camera moves, tracks, weaves, and tracks throughout the various characters and location of a film studio, leading to the introduction of our lead, Griffin Mill, played by Tim Robbins. An amazing way to open the film. It's so fun. It's got so much energy. It really makes you understand what this world is, and it's just so exciting.
Sure is. So isn't the Last Crusade opening sequence, which is an Indiana Jones origin story in so many ways. You know, River Phoenix was the perfect choice to play the young Indiana Jones. He's a Boy Scout, and they're on this little trip on horseback in the middle of nowhere in the desert. However, he discovers on his scout trip a bunch of treasure hunters and looters who discover a rare artifact which Indiana believes deserves to be in a museum, which he steals from them, and then starts an incredible chase sequence on horseback and then on a train, which leads to the source of his scar, the source of his lion whip, the source of his fear of snakes. So many great nuggets of
the source
backstory.
of his hat.
The source of his hat, of course, as well at the end. And sort of the source of his style, too, from this guy. So I love it. Spielberg,
It's the source code of Indiana.
It is. That's what that's what the scene is. It's really incredible. It's so fun. And he thinks he gets away. It's also the source of his dad and his relationship with his father. which is infuriating to him. I love this movie. It's fantastic. It's going to hit theaters on Father's Day. I don't know if you saw it, Anthony.
Oh, really? That's great. So that's a great movie for the holiday.
I got my tickets for the 13th. I'm going to see this in theaters. I can't wait.
13th of June?
Yep, 13th of June.
Man, that's awesome.
Because I think Father's Day is the 16th, so it's going to be in for that whole weekend.
Next up, I just talked about Robert Altman as the player. Let's talk about the opening shot that was inspired by it, and that's Paul Thomas Anderson's second film, Boogie Nights, which opens with an unbroken oneer that starts outside of a Reseda nightclub and steadicams its way through the dancers and characters of this film, confidently dancing, moving throughout the interior. We get to look at everybody who's going to have a part to play in this film, culminating on Mark Wahlberg as a very humble busboy watching from the sidelines, wishing he was part of this amazing community of adults having fun. Great, great, great opening scene, and harkens back to the brilliant oneer in the player.
Absolutely. Let's get into Mad Max Fury Road, and then how about after that we'll run to our intermission? Actually, what are we at right now?
That's a great idea.
Yeah, we'll run to our intermission after this. Mad Max Fury Road, great opening sequence. Tom Hardy is Mac Rockatansky. I really love how this movie opens with this awesome shot behind him and the car with the vastness of the wasteland ahead of him. Steps on the lizard, eats it, as well as giving his voiceover. My name is Max. My world is fire and blood. Eats this two-headed lizard, but then hears an engine in the distance, gets chased by a bunch of members of the Citadel, which flip his car, kidnap him, take him, and turn him into a blood donor, as well as this great chase sequence once he wakes up inside while he's being chained up and tries to escape from the Citadel, showcasing him being haunted by the past, ghosts of his past, who we assume are people that he wasn't able to save. And then he's eventually captured as he tries to hang and jump off from the edge of the cliff onto the hook. It's awesome. It's frenetic. It's relentless. And it's a great opening.
Yeah, man. When he jumps onto the crane hook, oh my God! It was like, man, it just goes into overdrive, man. Dun, 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 dun. All right, let's head into our mission, James.
All right, and now before we continue, the best way to support Raiders of the Lost Podcast is to become a patron today at patreon.com/Raiders of the Lost Podcast, where you get access to weekly bonus episodes as well as the ad-free version of every single episode. So you don't have to listen with commercial breaks, as well as access to our Discord. 5 different tiers of membership are available for as little as $2 a month and all the way up to the big one of $100 a month, where every tier has different kinds of perks like free merchandise and all kinds of stuff. Sign up today at patreon.com/Raiders of the Lost Podcast. Another amazing way to support the show is to subscribe on YouTube, leave likes, comments, and engage with our content on Instagram and TikTok and YouTube as well. That's how we get our awesome jobs, like interviewing actors recently, as well as leaving those 5-star ratings and reviews on Spotify and Apple. These ratings and reviews help us get seen by new people, and I love to read them out on the show. So I'm going to immortalize somebody in just a minute on the podcast forever with a written review that they left for us on Apple Podcasts. These ratings help us get seen by new people, help us chart better. So thanks to everyone who leaves us those ratings. And also, just sharing us with your family and friends is the best way for a podcast to grow. Share your favorite episodes. Anyone you know that is a cinephile that needs something to listen to on the road, at the gym, wherever, send them our podcast.
This episode, of course, is sponsored by our friends at movieposters.com, the #1 place to get your posters online today. Always use our promo code Raiders10 to get 10% off orders, as well as the affiliate link in the description of this episode or the social media bio pages that'll give us a little cut of the action. Movieposters.com has a huge selection of pretty much every film and TV show imaginable in their poster library, as well as backlighting and huge amazing frames like the one behind James. That John Wick 3 poster is banging. It pops so well in that room. It makes your home look like a little cinema. If you're a fan of Hollywood blockbusters or even old Golden Age classics, they got you covered, as well as a ton of options for international posters. And for the collectors out there, if you want to get yourself a few original prints, a few original lobby cards, original movie posters from your favorite classic films, always go to movieposters.com. Huge quality, amazing selection, very, very good prices, made even better thanks to our coupon code Raiders10, which always gets you 10% off. And don't forget, use that affiliate link too.
Now it's time for our intermission. Are you ready for the movie quote competition, Anthony?
Oh, yeah, I'm ready.
All right, this is 2 characters. Are you here all by yourself? Ma'am, I'm 8 years old. You think I'm here alone? I don't think so.
Home Alone?
Yeah.
All right, here's mine.
Somewhere
2 people talking.
in my memory.
It's Jude, James. It's Jude. All right, here we go. He doesn't have a passport. For the last 6 months, he's gone to Harvard and Berkeley. I'm betting he can get a passport.
We're always talking on Christmas. Forgot your wallet.
Got your wallet. You
Catch me
got
if
no
you
one
can.
else to call. You got no one else to call.
I'm getting close.
Head ready. Head ready.
Carl, you can eat the rest of that eclair. I'm saving it.
I'm gonna figure it out.
Anthony, guess this movie release year. Cujo.
1994.
1983.
Oh, jeez, what? Damn. That's an old movie. I thought that was a 90s movie. I was way off.
Yeah, you were.
James, what year did The Treasure of the Sierra Madre come out?
1957.
48.
Ah, damn.
I'm so sorry.
That's
You
an
were
old
nowhere
movie.
near it.
That was kind of close.
You were in a different decade.
9 off though. 9 off.
9 is a lot in the trivia.
Okay, yeah,
Nine's a lot.
It is.
If you're within 5, that's close.
All right, pop quiz time. Anthony, who played Paul Atreides in the original Dune movie?
What's his fucking name? Kyle MacLachlan.
Yeah, Kyle MacLachlan. Yeah,
MacLachlan. Yeah, sorry.
yeah. Close enough.
MacLachlan. Kyle MacLachlan. Close enough. It's him.
No, but you said McLaughlin. It's McLachlan.
He's got a weird name. It's a weird name.
You have a weird name.
I do have a weird name. Deveney's a weird name. All right, James. Keeping it in the David Lynch stratosphere, who played the Elephant Man?
Who is Willem Dafoe?
Way off.
Who is?
I'm so sorry.
Wait.
No.
Wait.
No fucking way.
Who was
The Elephant Man.
Oh, it's John
He's
Hurt.
Yes, correct.
Yeah. Sorry, I don't.
Well done. Nice save. I am a human being. Willem Dafoe.
All right, Anthony, can you give us some unsubscribes and some
There's
haters?
nothing I'd
please?
rather do. All right, first up. Go on holiday by mistake. Great name. They said, glad you piped up here. I nearly had to do an unsubscribe on your asses. I corrected you about something. It was what the last film, Wes Anderson's last film. You said it was
French Dispatch.
French Dispatch. And so,
It's Asteroid City. Yeah.
Yeah. 313. Why are you guys still not in the same room? Unsubscribed.
Anthony's been in England for a fucking month.
Yeah. And then this isn't an unsubscribe, but it made me crack up. Deliverex wrote, "Y'all twins like Stack and Smoke."
Honestly, I pitched Anthony like 3 weeks ago. Next time we go to an event to wear 3-piece suits, blue and red styled.
Yeah, it's a great pitch. We should do it. And Halloween too. It's a great Halloween costume.
Yeah, I think it'd be fun. We have a great 5-star written review from Typer Power 97.
Nice.
Well done show. Worth the listen. 5 stars. I've been catching up on this pod for a couple of months. It's a great show on almost all things movies. Anthony and James have a great dynamic, and their sense of humor strikes the funny bone in the right spot. Keep it up. Looking forward to see this channel grow. It's going to be tough when I have to unsubscribe. JK. Typer Power 97.
Typer.
Thank you so much for that wonderful 5-star written review. Brief and simple and lovely. Thank you. Appreciate you leaving that and going on Apple Podcasts to let us hear what you think about the show. Anthony, what's your movie recommendation for streaming?
A Complete Unknown is on Hulu.
Good pick. I am choosing Red Sparrow, which is on Hulu.
Hey, I picked a Hulu movie.
Cool. All right, let's get back into our episode on best opening scenes. Apparently, I can't do Hulu either.
No, you can't.
Let's talk about Orson Welles and his tremendous opening scene in Touch of Evil from 1958. And this is an amazing one-take tracking shot that begins on a close-up of someone ticking a bomb with like an oven timer with wires. It's really funny. And then the camera tracks with him as he mysteriously hides behind like a pillar. Then he goes and puts the bomb inside the trunk of a car and then kind of disappears into the crowded streets. And then the camera follows the car as it drives and weaves between this audience. And it's like a Friday night. There's people everywhere. It's bustling. It's like date night. And then the camera picks up the newlyweds in the film, the Miguel Mike Vargas and his wife Susan, played by Janet Leigh, who are walking nearby, unaware of what's about to happen. And they're just walking, enjoying their night on the town. They're at the Mexican-American border. They're coming from Mexico to go to America, so they go through customs and the check. And it's very tongue-in-cheek, and they're very sweet and cute, and they have good banter with the guys who work the border control because they're regulars there, especially Vargas. And then, as they're about to go find some chocolate soda, the car explodes ahead of them, and they run to see what happened. And there are no survivors. And it's an incredible wonder. It's remarkable. The crane shot, the camera starts on the ground, then tracks up into the air or over the buildings, over the neighborhood, and then coming back down to the ground. It's fantastic. Technical brilliance.
That was made almost 80 years ago. It was very hard to do the shot.
Yeah, I can only imagine, man. But it's incredible. In 1958, he pulled this off.
Now,
and no one ever talks about Orson as one of the best directors ever, too.
Oh, he's up there, man. Now, as far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster. Goodfellas is next on our list with Scorsese's incredible opening to showcase what this world is. As Henry, Jimmy, and Tommy are driving through the dark freeway in the middle of nowhere, they hear banging in the back in the trunk of the car. They pull the car over, and we hear more banging through the trunk. There's somebody inside. And as they get ready to open the back of the trunk, Jimmy and Tommy arm themselves, and then Henry opens the trunk, and there's a man who's brutally beaten but still alive, barely kicking. And then Tommy starts stabbing him, and Jimmy shoots him. They kill him cold blood. And then it cuts to Henry closing the trunk, red light pouring on his face, and we hear the opening iconic line, "As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster." Really is one of the greatest ever opening scenes.
Yeah, and it's a great bookend with the midpoint of the film. Moving on to Tarantino. He's got a couple on this list. Reservoir Dogs. And I love this opening sequence because it's just so dialogue heavy, sets the tone, and the characters so well. Busy Los Angeles diner. It's 1990s, filled with chatter, but then we have all these gangsters all in the same exact black suit, black tie, white shirt, sitting in a circle table, talking about the Madonna song, Like a Virgin, and their interpretations of what it means, sparking a great debate between Mr. Pink, who argues that Mr. Brown, who argues that it's about having sex with a guy with a huge dick, so it feels like it's the first time. But then also Mr. Pink arguing, played by Stu Buscemi, arguing about not tipping, iconic dialogue, which then leads into the great badass opening title sequence with Little Green Bag playing in their shutter speed walk down the parking lot, getting ready to go. It's fantastic. Introduces the dynamics, the personalities, and Tarantino's fantastic style.
I paid for breakfast, so throw in a fucking buck.
So cough it up. Normally I would not do this, but because you paid, I will. She only filled my coffee 3 times. I like my coffee filled 6 times. She was nothing special. What's special? Taking you out back and giving you a blowjob?
All right, next up we have The Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers, and Peter Jackson came up with a great way to start this film. How do you open this film? What scene do you pick from the story? And he goes full fantasy, full-on fantasy with Gandalf fighting the Balrog. We thought he died at the end of the second act of Fellowship, but in this sequence we see the replay of that sequence where he and the Balrog fall into the... Yeah, I almost said it. I almost said it.
The Balrog.
Where he and...
The Balrag.
The Balrag. Gandalf and the Balrag descend into the depths of the cave. And they battle each other as they fall thousands and thousands of feet into this endless pit. Beautiful music. Howard Shore just fucking crushes it. Great imagery. The huge wide inside the underground lake as they're descending onto it. And the battle ends on the top of the snowy mountaintop where Gandalf comes out on top. And man, what a fucking opening scene.
We'll never get anything like this again, honestly.
It's never
ever again. This is one of my favorite scenes ever. Not just opening scenes, ever. I often will just put this scene on just to watch it, just for funs, and then turn off the movie. But I love Two Towers, but man, this is the most badass opening I've ever to a movie, I think. It's incredible. Next up, we got The Truman Show, which is really incredible because it's basically a perspective for the audience only to sort of set us up for what Truman's life is like that he's so unaware of. How it's a broadcast, it's a TV show, and it opens very cheerful morning in Sea Haven, picture perfect, island, artificial town. Truman wakes up, broadcast day 10,909, and it's the unscripted daily life of his morning routine, basically, and his idyllic life, his greeting his neighbors in the morning, the fun visuals, the cheery music, doing the soap drawings on the mirror, everything like that. It's really great. I think it's beautiful, but then it ends with the mirror falling. I mean, the fallen light, which he shrugs off and then drives to work, and the cameras continue to track him. But it's a great way to set up the world.
Mystery. Next up, we have Alfonso Cuarón's Gravity, and I guess it has an opening scene, I guess, but technically the whole movie is one scene if you think about it, since it never ends.
Yeah, but I think the thing about Gravity with the opening is a 13-minute oneer. It doesn't cut.
That's what it is.
So that's why it's so special of her in the ship traveling and doing all of her daily routine, is it's a 13-minute no cut.
This is Clooney and her. They're doing a spacewalk, doing some very simple repairs on something outside the station. All of a sudden, debris from a satellite nearby that was struck with a meteorite or something is on its way over at blistering speeds and basically tears the entire station to pieces. and sends Sandra Bullock's character off into the distance of emptiness of space. It's incredible sound design, visual effects, Manuel Lubezki's camera work, and design for what it's going to be with him and Alfonso Cuarón. It's just an outstanding sequence. Stephen Price's score is pulverizing, and man, it gets your blood pumping.
Halloween is next, 1963, Haddonfield, Illinois, everybody. We have young Mike Myers, whose sister won't take him trick-or-treating, and then the great POV shots. Warner was stalking outside the house, peering through the windows, watching Judith and her boyfriend kiss, going upstairs. The POV of the person enters the kitchen through the back door, grabs a knife, goes upstairs, creeps in, and stabs Judith. The reveal after she takes off his mask, revealing that it's Michael Myers himself as a child. Incredible reveal, chilling, terrifying, and then he runs outside unmasked, where his parents stare blankly as they arrive. It's incredible.
He just wanted candy, man. Should have given him candy.
I'm sure there's some more stuff going on besides that.
A bit of an overreaction. Next up, Ryan Gosling and Nicholas Winding Refn's Drive. Dun, 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 dun. This opens with such an intense and suspenseful bank heist where Gosling's character Driver drops 3 robbers off outside of some kind of industrial warehouse, and they break in, and he waits in his car for them to come back. And the entire robbery is through his perspective. We're not seeing what they're stealing. We're not seeing them break into this place and what they're doing inside. We stay with Driver, and that's what makes the scene really work. They run back out of the warehouse and into the car, and he begins an incredible, evasive escape from the eyes of authorities both on the streets and in the sky above, leading to a terrific conclusion where, seeing no way out, he had his own backup plan if things went horribly, where he parked inside of the sports arena and blends in with the fans also moving through the parking lot.
Love it. The Social Network has a fantastic opening scene, too, that is so incredible and dialogue heavy. Mark Zuckerberg, played by Jesse Eisenberg, and then his girlfriend at the time, Erica, played by Rooney Mara. And it shows so well the dynamic of Mark Zuckerberg and his effect on other people. It's very fast-paced, quick dialogue, close-ups in a bar, a Harvard bar, and basically shows how he destroys his friendships and relationships without realizing it. It shows how his brain works differently than other people. He doesn't really understand how to communicate like other people who aren't as high of an intellect as him or aren't as analytical and think like a computer in a lot of ways like he does. And it also establishes a sort of emotional difficulty he has with connecting with other people, where he clearly, as the character in the movie, doesn't feel things like other people feel things and approaches everything like coding in a way. But it's really fun. It's funny. It's cringe, and it's so well directed.
Awesome. And the White Stripes ball and biscuit.
Yeah, and he runs through the quad in the snow in his flip-flops.
Next up, Christopher Nolan with The Dark Knight Rises. Bane's opening sequence, filmed with IMAX film cameras, was jaw-dropping to see in an IMAX cinema. Huge, grand-scale spectacle filmmaking, as a bunch of agents take in terrorists who they believe are connected to Bane, only for Bane to be one of them. He's trying to find out what they told you about us. Bane hijacks the plane with his men, kills all the personnel, and kidnaps Dr. Pavel before crashing the plane into the earth below and escaping into the skies above. Oh man, what a fucking sequence. It was so good.
Was getting caught part of your plan? Of course.
Of course!
This is
Crashing this plane.
Christopher Nolan's most proud scene he's ever directed.
crashing this plane.
It's an incredible feat of filmmaking. It's absolutely astounding what they did. It's just insane practical work. Staying on big action spectacles, Skyfall is next, which opens with James entering a safe house who finds dead agents and a stolen hard drive. That incredible shot, out of focus shot, walking into the small bit of light with the gun raised. Deakins filmed this movie so brilliantly. It's every shot looks like a painting. And Bond chases on foot, then motorcycle, weaving through traffic and markets. And then eventually it ends on top of a train where Bond is shot after M orders Eve to shoot to try to take out the antagonist. Risky shot, hits Bond, who falls to the river below, basically faking his death eventually, and he's reborn throughout the rest of the film, but it's an incredible opening.
Reborn?
He is reborn.
On paper, I guess.
That's the whole point. That's like the whole theme of the character. He's like, rebirth. He even says it.
He says it?
Yeah, he says rebirth in the movie.
All right. I thought it was a funny way to say it. Reborn.
Well, I'm just connected because remember he's going through his interview process, and he says they ask a question like, "What are you into?" He's like, "Rebirth," something like that. It's like that.
I don't think he says rebirth.
Yes, he does.
I don't think so.
Hold on. Skyfall, Rebirth. He says,
I'm gonna look up. I'm going
Resurrection.
Resurrection. Okay, there we go. Thank you. Close enough. Next up, speaking of trains, we got another opening sequence that has a train in it. Once Upon a Time in the West from Sergio Leone. In this opening, sound design and cinematography are key as three unnamed gunslingers are waiting at a barren, desolate train stop. Their boredom is showcased through beautiful macro photography and anamorphic filmmaking. Sound design, whether it be insects or various pieces of the environment, really make us feel what they're feeling. It looks like they've been waiting here for hours. Suddenly, a train pulls up, but nobody gets off. The men were anticipating someone would, but no one did. As the train drives away, though, we see that there's a man standing on the other side. This man, we'll learn, is named Harmonica, played by Charles Bronson, who will be the lead of this film. And it's clear that these three men are waiting for him. They all prepare and line up, ready to shoot him down. But before they can pull their guns out fast enough, he shoots all three of them dead. An incredible piece of filmmaking, just one of the best directed scenes ever. Not just opening scenes, but just best directed scenes ever.
It's pretty awesome. It's pretty awesome. So isn't Vertigo's opening scene from Alfred Hitchcock? This scene's so fast, the way it opens. It's visceral. And this movie stars James Stewart as John Scotty Ferguson. The opening scene involves Scotty and an unnamed cop chasing a suspect across rooftops, leaping gaps. Scotty slips on slanted tiles. He's dangling from a gutter high above the streets. And then the cop tries to save Scotty, but slips and falls to his death, leaving Scotty hanging, frozen in terror, staring into the abyss below, leading to this vertigo he eventually feels throughout the rest of the film. This establishes his vulnerability, the psychology of the character, acrophobia, as well as the dizzying filmmaking from Alfred Hitchcock. This one's an incredible opening sequence, and I love the tone. I love the intensity in it.
Next up, we got Trainspotting from Danny Boyle with a fantastic opening where Renton and Spud are sprinting down a street chased by police and security after shoplifting. They're dodging cars and people when Renton's voiceover from Ewan McGregor plays out. This is like that famous monologue, choose life, choose a job, blah, 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 as they're escaping. And it ends in Renton getting hit by a car. He lands on the pavement, but rather than showing pain, he laughs maniacally with a grin, and the chase ends. It just showcases who these guys are and what we're in store of as an audience.
Alfonso Cuarón is back with Children of Men next, one of the best movies of the century. Takes place in London, 2027. It's a gritty dystopian future. Our main character Theo, played by Clive Owen, he enters a cafe and is watching. He just goes to the front of the line. He's unaware that everyone's paying attention to the news of the youngest person alive who's been killed, who's basically a celebrity, who's like 20 or something like that. He's been killed, and now someone new is named the youngest person alive. Obviously, this is a world where people have been infertile and the baby hasn't been born in 18 years or 20 years, something like that. And Theo gets a coffee, doesn't even care what's happening on the news, exits the cafe. Moments later, a bomb explodes from inside, shatters the windows, leaves him stunned. And that's the opening, establishing this hopeless, chaotic world that Theo's in, as well as his detachment to the world in general, and how he's just floating by, waiting for the world to end like the majority of the people on the planet.
Fucking amazing, man. It's just one of the best. Fight Club is next, which has such an intriguing, mysterious opening scene that leaves you on bated breath to see what happens next. It opens on inside the high-rise with the narrator with a gun gagged in his mouth, held by Tyler. And then Tyler explains a little rant about his empty life and stuff like that, and the camera drops down into the basement level of the building, showcasing the bomb of nitroglycerin inside the van below. And narrator then asks, "How did I get here?" And we cut to the backstory for his character. Visually stunning. David Fincher showcasing a style of filmmaking that had never been done before with such brilliance and inventive creativity, and audiences are still eating it up.
Back to Chris Nolan with The Dark Knight. Gotham City daytime, the opening bank heist is incredible. It's so superb. The opening shot, just a helicopter pushing into a skyscraper where a window explodes, and then two robbers shoot a line and swing across a skyscraper street to the rooftop of the bank. Chaotic, mysterious, the talking of the Joker, the killing of each other to get a bigger cut of the pie, and then the reveal of the Joker later on after he takes off his mask with the iconic line, "What doesn't kill you makes you stranger." It's fascinating. It's incredible. It's visceral. Kind of a cool, fun cameo with William Fichtner from Heat, which was very cool, and this movie was inspired by that movie immensely. I love this film, and it is one of the best opening scenes of a superhero movie, but also in film in general, and it's incredible. Christopher Nolan's the G. He's the GOAT.
Next up, we got The Matrix with its insanely smart opening sequence, showcasing the rules of the world while still keeping the audience confused and intrigued about what's going to happen. Trinity is in a seedy motel, and she's swarmed by police officers. As they try to arrest her, she then attacks them with martial arts and special abilities that are impossible for humans. And then it cuts down to agents coming onto the scene outside below, joining the police officers, asking about what's going on. And the commanding officer says, "We sent a squad of like 5 dudes to get her. They can handle one little girl." And the agent goes, "Your men are already dead."
No,
Boom,
Lieutenant,
what?
Your men are already dead.
Trinity then escapes on the roofs where cops and the agents chase after her. Both she and the agents showcase incredible power and strength as they jump over gaps that are impossible for any normal person to jump over. And then Trinity, without any way to escape, jumps through a tiny window across the alleyway, careens down a stairwell, and holds her guns out. She's safe. No one followed her in. She then makes it outside and approaches a ringing telephone in a phone booth. But as she's making her way, an agent takes over the body of a truck driver, turns the truck around, and then it's a mad dash between the two of them of who can get to the phone booth first. Trinity makes it inside, picks up the phone, looks into the lights as the truck careens forward and crashes through the phone booth. However, as the agents make it onto the scene, they discover that the phone booth is empty. Dun, dun, dun! What the hell? This is unbelievable.
Pretty brilliant. The rooftop chase is kind of like Vertigo's rooftop chase, too.
Yeah, I believe that's what it was inspired by.
The Godfather has one of the most iconic and memorable opening scenes of all time. It's 1945. The dimly lit office of the Corleone family is having a very intense discussion in New York, Long Island, during the wedding of Connie Corleone. And this is where Vito is being pleaded by Bonacera, right? Bonacera to get justice for his daughter, who was attacked and assaulted by men. And he's begging for vengeance, offering money. But Vito chastises him for not showing respect earlier, but then agrees to handle the attackers, asking him and telling him that someday in the future I will ask you for a favor and I will call upon you. And it's basically like this is how he's made his business and has grown so much wealth and built such a community of followers, of favors, really. And this is reflected super well in the opening sequence, in the preamble kind of Godfather Part 2 of young Vito. Now, this also is cross-cut with the wedding, which features several scenes with Michael Corleone and his girlfriend and his wife at the time. I mean, his girlfriend at the time. And how Michael doesn't want to be a part of the family business. He's not really proud of it. He's almost ashamed. He's a soldier. He's a veteran. He's coming back from war. He's just there for the wedding. But it'll eventually lead to him being a part of the family business. It's brilliant. It's shot so well. Masterclass in filmmaking.
Next up, we got Saving Private Ryan with the unbelievable storming of Normandy. Steven Spielberg and his entire team put together an extravagant feast for the eyes and a haunting display of war, with one of the most engaging, shocking, and frightening depictions of warfare ever put on film. The Normandy beach scene, it will change you after watching it.
So won't Star Wars. I'm sure it changed everyone the first time they saw it. The first film, A New Hope. The imagination of George Lucas. The opening scene's fantastic. A rebel ship gets captured. Princess Leia. It's so mysterious. We don't know what the fuck's going on, really. A couple of droids are running around. This girl with buns in her hair. Princess Leia. She gets captured by the most badass villain of all time, Darth Vader, who's OP and just ferocious and unstoppable. It's so much fun. It's campy. It's got some good humor in it with the droids, but then a very serious tone with Leia, who's asking for help from Ben Kenobi. It's fantastic, and I love it.
Did you say, what's OP mean? Did you say OP?
OP, I said OP.
What does that mean?
So, all right, this is our daily lesson for Anthony on slang. OP means overpowered.
Okay, all right. OP. Just say overpowered.
No, that's not how kids talk these days, Anthony. Okay, I'm trying to relate to the youngins.
How do you learn all these?
Just the internet.
Are you like checking on a weekly update of what slang terms there are?
No, I see it in videos and stuff. You know.
OP.
I listen to how people talk.
All right. Next up, we have James mentioned earlier in the episode, Scream. From Wes Craven, created a blueprint for a perfect way to open horror films. And who we think is going to be maybe the lead of this movie, Drew Barrymore, the biggest star at the time in this film, is actually killed by Ghostface in this terrifying opening, which is intriguing, clever, funny, and then gruesome. And it goes really dark. It goes hardcore. It's absolutely terrifying. And it shows us the stakes of Ghostface in this film in a way that no other film has. So it's still the best opening, still the best Scream film.
Blade Runner and Blade Runner 2049 have great opening sequences, but I think Blade Runner's is one of the best ever. And it's really just built so much on tone, ambience, and atmosphere with incredible production value and production design. You know, Ridley Scott's a genius. It's Los Angeles, November 2019. It's really just this dark, neon-lit dystopian cityscape. Towering skyscrapers. The incredible music from Vangelis is just takes you to another planet as much as the visuals do, in a different world. It's very moody, foreboding. The slow pans with that haunting Sith score from Vangelis, flickering lights, this futuristic world, so oppressive atmosphere. It's really fantastic. And then it ends with that brilliant close-up of the eye with the fiery landscape reflecting into the eye of the human replicant divine. It's so remarkable and establishes this incredible gritty world.
Next up, leave it to Hitchcock to do something never been done before with Rope. And Rope opens with literally a murder in the midst of a murder taking place. Brandon Shaw and Philip Morgan are quite literally at the start of this movie strangling their friend to death with a rope. Once he's dead, they decide to hide him in plain sight for an upcoming dinner party they're hosting in the next few minutes. And it's an incredible setup to one of the best films Hitchcock made.
Back to Spielberg. Jaws, baby. It's so fun. You know, it opens brilliantly in a very safe situation. You're at a campfire, a bunch of kids are drinking, having fun. A girl and a guy are giving each other the eyes. The girl's like, hey, let's go skinny dipping. And they go running through the beach to the water where she goes skinny dipping. And he's kind of a little too drunk to go swimming, so he doesn't. And then as Christy is in the water, after being so carefree at the party, the underwater shots, the tension building, and then she suddenly starts getting jerked around under the water. The thrashing, the screaming, it's brutal. An unseen attack. We don't even see the shark, but it's so terrifying. It shows the lethal threat of the shark to set up the rest of the film, and it really creates the great presence of the terror that Amityville is about to experience.
In 2001, A Space Odyssey, Stanley Kubrick opens his film with a bunch of early animal hominids. We got man-apes, leopards, tapirs, and mysterious black monolith suddenly appears. The man-apes approach the monolith, which appeared overnight, touching it in awe as it looms, alien and inexplicable. We then cut to the creation of violence and weaponry through bones. And then one of the apes throws the bone into the air, which is then match cut with a spaceship, probably thousands of years in the future, and the story starts. But the haunting, looming imagery, the beautiful cinematography with that iconic score, it's an unbelievable sequence, and man, so many people have copied it and pulled from it, like all of Kubrick's films.
Top 3 now. We're in the top 3 best opening scenes of all time. And we got to talk about Ridley here. Again, Gladiator, baby. It's 180 AD, the battlefield of Germania. And we have Maximus, general of the legions of the Roman army, finishing up this war for Marcus Aurelius, conquering Germania. One of the most incredible battles you'll ever see in a movie. Contemporary, period piece, ancient warfare, whatever. It doesn't matter. This is God tier. Ridley Scott is OP during this directing. You know, he's an overpowered director. It's incredible. I mean, Hans Zimmer's score is electric as well. The dialogue's great. The character building is phenomenal. Great dialogue. Brutal battle. So stylistic and incredible, and just the fact that they did this in like 2 weeks, all of the exterior battle sequences of this entire first 40 minutes is incredible. It's just a triumph in filmmaking, and we'll never get it again. We'll never get someone like Ridley Scott again.
Proof that it works so well is that whenever I watch this opening scene, I'm ready to fight for Maximus.
Me too. I would.
All right, at number 2, we have Quentin Tarantino's Inglourious Basterds. The introduction of Hans Landa as he comes across a small dairy farm and interrogates the owner of the home, locating any Jews in the area. As the interrogation is happening, which seems pleasant on the surface, the audience is shown that there's a family of Jews hiding underneath the floorboards. Hans Landa, played by Christoph Waltz, portrays his brilliance, his cunning, and his manipulative tactics to eventually gather the information he needs and tricking the family under the floorboards into staying frozen and prepared for slaughter. It's so well written. It's so intense, so suspenseful. I think it's Tarantino's best work as a writer. And, man, it's a scene that you can watch over and over again, and it's just unbelievably brilliant. There's really very few scenes are this strong in this quality.
It's time for number one, the most amazing opening scene ever in film history from Steven Spielberg in The Jungles of Peru, 1936. Indiana Jones first showed up on screens around the world. This is so incredible because of the character reveal is delayed. Indy's leading a small group through the jungle with the whip, the fedora, until a man pulls a gun. And then we get the great reveal of the Golden God himself, Harrison Ford. And then Indy and his buddy Satipo, they enter the tomb of the Golden Idol. And we have booby traps, getting the Golden Idol, escaping the giant boulder, and then being defeated by Belloc. It's daring. It's incredible. It's resourceful. Indiana is just the perfect hero, the perfect protagonist. It's just so remarkable, the filmmaking here. I could watch this scene on a loop over and over and over again for the rest of my life and be a happy person. I love this movie so much. It's incredible, and Steven's the man.
It's not just because it's the namesake of the show, but because it really is the great opening scene, the greatest ever made. Can't argue with that.
You can't. Man, that was a lot of fun.
That was a great list. Yeah,
that was a
an
great
epic list.
There's
And,
so many
amazing
missing.
films.
Like, there's so many more we could put on there. I mean, you could put Kill Bill on here. The first one has such a great opening scene in the chapel.
Yeah.
That's an incredible opening scene. But I mean, you can't do every Tarantino movie. You can't do every Nolan movie because you could. But there are so many tremendous opening scenes. But we picked a bunch of our favorites. But let us know what your favorite opening scenes are in the comments of this episode on YouTube. Send us some DMs. We'd love to see your thoughts. Let us know what we're missing, what you think we should have added to the list, what you didn't think should have been on the list, and etc. But thanks so much for tuning into this episode as always, everybody. We appreciate you all so much. Don't forget to become a patron today at patreon.com/Raiders of the Lost Podcast. Leave those 5-star ratings and reviews on Spotify and Apple. Subscribe on YouTube. Follow on Instagram, TikTok. Engage with our content so we get more cool jobs like interviewing the cast of Ballerina at the premiere. Thank you all so much. Take care.
See you next time.